On today's episode of the Outlet Podcast, we'll be discussing Superman's new power and is Lara Crofty enough to make a good second game? You are listening to the Outlet Podcast. Connect and recharge. To the Outlet Podcast, episode 5. It's a pleasure. My name is Gazy. I'm your electrician for this series of podcasts that I'm doing. Just want to let you all know all the different ways you can reach me, because things have been really good recently. Not only have I been accepted to have my media shared on iTunes, but also Stitcher. So you can find me at Twitter at Outlet Podcast or on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Outlet Podcast. On YouTube, just do a YouTube search of Outlet Podcast and I'll be right there. You can also find me on my WordPress blog, which I update as many times as I can. I try to throw on pictures on that as well as my Facebook. So my WordPress blog is www.outletpodcast.wordpress.com. On SoundCloud, you can subscribe on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/outlet-podcast, or on Stitcher. You can find me on Stitcher now. Just type in Outlet Podcast and I'll be there as well. So the way mostly I find, since I use my iPad a lot, I have an iPad, but I also use an Android phone. So the way I listen to my own podcast to hear how interesting my acoustic recordings come out is I have the SoundCloud app on my phone, on my Android. So that's how I listen to all my media, and I critique myself on my media through my Android on my phone. However, when I'm at home relaxing, my Wi-Fi in my house, I like to actually enjoy the content streaming through iTunes. And iTunes just takes the RSS feed straight from SoundCloud and it makes it available. So, subscribe to it on iTunes, like it on iTunes, give me some stars, give me some comments, because it would be amazing to actually be listed on the new and noteworthy section. I saw a couple Orlando based podcasts on there, so I was excited and hoping that maybe what I have to say on this show, it might be heard on a larger scale with a larger audience, and that some people can not only be entertained, but be inspired to just continue out living their lives in the most positive way that they can. So today we'll be discussing Superman's new powers and Lara Croft. I definitely made a pun. I don't know if you guys some people did laugh at that. Not everyone did. That's okay. So let's go into it, talking about Superman's new power. So, you've all heard of Superman. He's Kal-El. He's the big, the big blue Boy Scout. There we go. That was a tongue twister. As Batman has called him, the big blue Boy Scout. I've never really been a true fan of Batman in the comic books, I mean, I mostly read the big events that have happened. I've read the offshoot stories that have happened. All-Star Superman, I've read that. Kingdom Come, Red Sun, all these different variations. You have the big events where he's like where Doomsday kills him, but we find out that he wasn't really killed. He was in a healing coma. I buy that just because I'm a huge Superman fan. Though I don't buy the comic, like the comic that I own most, from what I know, is either Batgirl, Catwoman, or Spider-Man. Because, well, I stopped listening to buying the Catwoman comics because after issue 18, a new writer by the name of Ann Nocenti, she got involved in it. She did a terrible job. The people who were involved writing her story in the beginning, they were awesome, and the illustrations were awesome. But that's the world of comic books. You get a bad writer, they destroy the character in a way. Batgirl, they are doing that with her now. Apparently, Barbara Gordon, she goes back to college. And if you follow the Batgirl storyline, you know that, she was, Barbara Gordon, then, she was Batgirl. Then, all of a sudden, she hears a knock on the door. All of a sudden, boom, it's the Joker. Shoots her, paralyzes her. She changes her superhero name to the Oracle. And now she's helping Batman as an intel lady. And she's amazing. If you haven't read, DC's gone through a convergence in their universe to right some wrongs in different situations. So if you have picked up, I recommend that you pick up Nightwing and Oracle. And it's amazing because it's in between, Nightwing, who was the Dick Grayson, Robin, and Oracle, Barbara Gordon. But she's the Oracle, but she is paralyzed. So she's in a wheelchair. And how can herself and Nightwing fight Hawkman and Hawkgirl? Just buy the comics and read it. It's amazing. There is an actual love interest in between the two characters, and it's really sweet. And I actually was able to procure the Birds of Prey issue 8, where Barbara Gordon is taken out on a date by Dick Grayson. The interesting story to that is that I was looking for interesting comic book covers for my wedding, because I'm married with my wife. I've been married for like a year and like 3 months. And so my wife wanted me to incorporate some comic books. So I found them, Spider-Man, the giant-sized annual of Spider-Man marrying Mary Jane. The cover artwork was there. I got the cover artwork of Jean Grey marrying Cyclops. I got that cover. There was a Hulk cover, I believe, that I purchased, and that was there too. But this one, I was like searching for this because it was a very cute romantic cover. They're both on a trapeze swing, and it's very endearing. I saw it, and I saw it on eBay, and I eBayed the guy, and I told him my story, and he was like, you know what? Just give me $40 when the comic is actually worth like $90. So that was amazing, and definitely I gotta give that guy, a little round of applause. Definitely got to give that guy a little cheer because of what he did for me. So yeah, I own that comic. So that's the second one. So Superman is not necessarily in any of these. I've recently started reading, not recently, but as of recent, I started reading Wonder Woman and Superman in the New 52 universe. Superman and Wonder Woman are a couple, which is something that I actually love. Ladies love it. I love it myself. It's something that you like. There you go. Going a little crazy right there. It's something that I actually love, because they're both super powered beings, and they have a hard time relating to any other person. So I just enjoy it. If you have the time and the finances, pick up the trade, or pick up the paperbacks, and start reading Superman and Wonder Woman, because they are a power couple. They are an amazing power couple. I believe Batman has been quoted in that series of comics where he said if they wanted to destroy the world, they both could. And because you got an amazingly powered alien in Kal-El, and an Amazonian war. The god, she in the Wonder Woman series, she actually is the god of war. She became the god of war. I think she also became the goddess of peace or something like that. But that's neither here nor there. So I love what they're doing with Superman currently. So currently he's got a new power. The writer who has been involved in this is one of the great ones with the DC universe as of late, is Jeff Johns. I'm really glad with the stuff that he's been producing, and the artwork has been done by the son of one of the most famous illustrators of comic books of all time, John Romita Jr. He's the one who is actually stenciling and drawing Superman, and it's interesting to see. It's not like it's interesting to see Superman's face not so rounded off, or high, like he has like a kind of a caveman-esque appearance, but it's very like charming. So it's a really cool appearance. The costume that he has also, he's drawn it real well. The way he illustrates the cape, that's really not. It's like very interesting. So it's not like Spawn, but it's pretty cool. So where Superman got this stint of where his superpowers are explained, it's just through two issues, issue 38 and 39 and 40. Okay, 3 issues. Sorry about that. In the New 52. So what happens is that he releases all of the solar energy from every cell in his body. If you don't know, Superman gets his powers. His powers are amplified by the rays of the sun. So the fact that his parents, Jor-El sent him to a galaxy or a solar system where the sun was, I guess, the most influential, the one where he can benefit most. So that sent him towards our galaxy. So in this power, he releases all of that energy. Superman doesn't need to eat. I don't know if you knew that, but Superman doesn't need to eat. That's just a custom. That's a habit that he's been trained ever since he was a kid. But in this New 52, he's been actualized in all of that power that he was supposed to have. Now he has it. Like the fact that he was being restrained for so long, now he's been unrestrained. And he's not like Superman Prime, where he's like gold and considered God. But that's pre-crisis, and that's don't let me get started with the pre-crisis and Infinite Crisis, all that stuff. No. So it's 1,000 times more powerful. Batman explains that it's 1,000 times more powerful than his heat vision. But the problem is that it makes him human for one day. So he's able to, this giant solar flare of this expulsion of so much power, he's able to pull it off. However, it makes him human when he comes conscious. He can be killed. So wow, that's you can kill now. Superman can be killed. It's an interesting dynamic. It's like okay, it's like he can use this amazing power, but it's at an extreme risk to him. So I'm interested to see how the writers will work with this, and if he'll ever get a mastery of it. Because so far he has been kind of recognize what the trigger is. So he's been able to recognize the trigger, and that's pretty cool. But he's not in complete control of the power. So it makes him human for one day. After hearing of Jimmy Olsen, check this out. I think this is the end of issue 38. So there was a big endeavor. I didn't read issue 37 or 36, so I don't know what was going on in the storyline, but a result of what was going on in the storyline is that in this issue 38, Jimmy Olsen, he's been given like $1 billion or something as an inheritance from his parents, and he gives all that money away to the people who've been suffering because of the prior issues that were going on in the issues probably 36, 37 or whatnot. So he gives everything away. He gives like the $1 billion to all these families that were hurt because of this one event. I'm not quite sure what happened. So he gives it all away. Clark Kent is there and he's amazed. You know, he's now become he's always identified himself as human, but he's never really been a human. He's been raised as one, but he's never been one in certain regards. And now he's experimenting what it's like in those certain regards, how it is to be a human. So what happens is that once Jimmy tells him of this action that he's done, he's like, well, Superman would do it or something like that. And he says, you know, the next page is like, I got something to tell you. You get, you know, spoiler alert. I'm already telling you about the superpower. So spoiler alert. 1, 2, let me just actually go inside and do this. 3, 2, 1. He tells Jimmy Olsen that he's Superman, and he's changed into his Superman outfit, and it's like an angel. Like the way he was drawn is kind of like angelic, standing before Jimmy Olsen. It's really cool. So the next issue, they're talking, and he's like, wow, I didn't know. And Clark Kent is, he has to explain, oh, it's just my glasses change your perspective of how you see me, not just like he goes into the science of it, because everyone's like, why is it that Superman, like no one knows that he's Superman? It's obvious that he's Superman. All he's doing is just wearing glasses. No, there's a science to it that gets nasty deep. I don't know, because he's able to it changes. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but so he explains that, and he's also explaining the loss of his ability to fly, all because of the solar flare that he's been able to perform. So Jimmy Olsen now knows that he's human. So that blows his mind even further away. So in this issue, I believe it's issue 39, is where it's where he encounters certain problems. One of the problems is that he sees a boy falling from a tree who's trying to get his kite, and he goes to save him, to catch him from the fall, and he does so, just like Superman would. However, he suffers a really serious gash on his arm, much more serious than the Man of Steel would ever have had on something so simple like that. Also, he stands in front of, on the next few panels, there's this criminal holding a hostage at gunpoint in an alley, and it's like the sun is setting, it's nighttime-ish, and a criminal has this hostage by the neck, pulling him back with a gun, and there's cops everywhere and a bunch of civilians in the background, and he recognizes that this looks like a job for Superman. So he doesn't lose his powers in so much that he he's still able to do some things. Like, okay, his immense super strength, he might not have that immense super strength. He doesn't have his ability to fly. But if you go all the way back to the original Superman, the original Action Comics, like #1, he's still able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. So he's able to jump far, far distances, kind of like the Hulk. But so he's able to do that. He's able to run fast. So he does have a speed, but it's not the I can race against the Flash speed. Even though the Flash would school anybody when it comes to speed. Yes, I said it first. I'm throwing it down. Bring it on. Yeah, don't be offended just because I said that. Dude. He can beat the Flash can beat Superman, dude. It's in the comics. They've even raced. It's not that serious. So, so the criminal holds this guy at gunpoint, and all of a sudden you just see Superman standing in front of him. No one knows. Everyone thinks that this is done, but only Jimmy Olsen knows, and he can't say anything. Only Jimmy Olsen knows that, oh my gosh, he can pull the trigger at any time and kill Superman. But obviously the criminal doesn't know. And so they engage in a small tete-a-tete. And man, like, when you hear, okay, read Superman All-Star, and you'll see how caring Superman is, and how aware he is of who he is. And I say that because everyone would think, oh, Superman is, if he has super hearing, because he does have super hearing, and he has super speed, he can be in different parts of the world and he can solve all these issues, which he can. And it's like, he's aware of all this, but he knows that there's a greater, he can't do everything. He can't solve all of the world's problems. He can fight and defend so that we can solve the problems for ourselves. I include myself from the DC universe for some reason, but he doesn't choose to get overly involved, only in the very serious and dangerous issues. So Jimmy Olsen, after the tete-a-tete with the criminal gives up, and Jimmy Olsen emphasizes how the criminal could have shot him, but Clark responds, "You think I only step in front of guns because I'm bulletproof?" What? Yeah. Let me repeat that. You think I only step in front of guns because I'm bulletproof? So why else would you? I mean, if I was bulletproof, I'd step in front of a gun. So what is the point that what is the inspiration? What is the backing towards, what is the reasoning towards your actions? Why when he said that, you think I only step in front of guns because I'm bulletproof? Well, why else would you? Later, he tells Jimmy, what choice did I have? And it's like, are you that good? Like, is he so magnanimous? Is he so positive, so generous, so understanding Superman that he's like, I do what's right even though it's going to risk myself. Like, Superman has never ever had a threat that he didn't challenge. Like, the battle with Doomsday, he still fought. He was getting whooped. If you look at if you read the Doomsday cover, maybe on back issue, or if on trades, that would be the cheaper way to get them. If you're trying to get the single issues, you're gonna probably look at $200 or $100-something for those comics. But if you get if you just get the books, like the trade books that have, they sell the stories in bulk. It's not like you're trying to get collector's items here. Then you'll be able to see it. Like, Doomsday is throwing a whooping on him because Doomsday has been genetically engineered to be a killing machine. So with Doomsday, he can kill. Like, if he is killed, he regenerates, he resurrects, and you cannot kill him the same way he was killed prior, because that's the way he was mechanized. So it's crazy. So one of the way I remember Superman trying to take him out was that, they were fighting and he takes him up all the way out of the Earth's atmosphere and just slams him, like pile drives him back on Earth. So that's the way Superman was able to take him out, but he suffered, his healing coma. Hey, because if Goku can be wished back by Dragon Balls, then why can't Superman have a healing coma? Whatever. So I just love this this aspect of Superman. I think it's so sweet. I think it's inspirational. I love it. Like the fact that he's like, you think I only step in front of guns because I'm bulletproof? It's like you do what's right because it's right, not because it's popular, not because it'll get you, web hits. You do it because it's what is good. Man, I'm like blown away by that. So definitely, if you can, pick up these issues 38, 39, 40 and follow it along, because this power might be canon. They might make this. I think the DC's actually trying to make this canon. It's going along with all of the other superpowers that he had. Because, like I mentioned before, he used to only be able to run, jump far distances. He had super strength, and he was able to run faster than a train. He's also had, wacky powers in the past. Like, he's able to shoot miniature versions of himself from his hands. He's been able to sneeze and move galaxies. He's been able to shapeshift, which he can't shapeshift. I don't know what they're doing with that, man. But so they were able to do that. He attained X-ray vision, and so he initially had X-ray vision. All right, but they were like, okay, when it kind of got a little monotonous, he can see through anything then, if that was the case. That's why they said he can't see through lead. The creators initially said, all right, well, he can see through everything. Let's just make it so that he can't see through everything. Let's throw some lead as a weakness towards that. His heat vision came from his X-ray vision. So the heat of his X-ray vision is the heat vision that we have, that he uses. So it's the heat vision that gets out of control. He was in an energy challenge, an energy beam struggle. It was like the dude was shooting off like a bunch of energy. So Clark Kent, like Superman, is using his X-ray vision or his heat vision, and then it just starts to grow and grow, and then every cell in his body expunges this solar power out of his body. So we'll see if I'll enjoy where this takes him, because I'm beginning to fall in love with the Superman character. I definitely enjoy him, and I think he's far more interesting than Batman. Batman, he's had great writers. He's always had great writers, but I think the Superman is more beneficial towards people. Superman is the good, and I guess Batman, you could say, is the lawful evil. Like Batman does what he has to do, even though he doesn't kill. So, but Superman is a superhero. Batman is a crime fighter. Boom! I'm throwing down the mic. Take that, you guys. So let's switch up. And let's start talking about, is Lara Crofty enough to make a second game good? segment of the Outlet Podcast. It's where I review video games that are coming out, video games that I definitely enjoy. You know, I'm not like a machinima, or I don't go to like conferences or any of that. I am looking forward to, though, actually going to conventions and being able to report from conventions about various things. So that's something that you can all look forward to, and that I'll be happy to provide for you guys. Because if you can't go to this, at least you can just be and hear the backgrounds of all that stuff. And maybe, hey, we can set up a meetup. And that would be nice to have a live podcast. What would you guys say? Are you guys interested in it? Okay, those people are laughing. Right there, all right, some people laughing. Cheering's going on. Ladies? All right, ladies love it. And there's Mr. Cynical. That guy needs Jesus. I don't know about that guy. But so these are just games that I'm like reviewing that I think you'll love, because I've played them. I'm excited to talk, and I'm excited to talk about them. So, The Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's the latest game that's going to come out for the Tomb Raider franchise. Previously, I was able to play the first Tomb Raider game, and it was kind of like a prequel. Excuse me, like a how can you explain it? Like a backstory, because we're not talking about the Angelina Jolie looking Lara Croft that we all remembered and had crushes, video game crushes. I mean, did you guys come on? Like the way they animated her, I was like, really, they're really going for the guys, because there's no way that someone like an explorer of some sort is gonna be dressed like that. Sorry. I mean, that movie, not for nothing, that movie was really good. Angelina Jolie did a great job as Lara Croft. I definitely enjoyed her as Lara Croft. She did a good job. And in this movie, in this movie, I am excited. In this video game franchise, I'm excited because, it started off. It started off real good. The first game, the first game, it's voiced by, if you know her name, please let me know on Facebook.com/Outlet Podcast, or definitely on Facebook, or you can answer it to me on Twitter at Outlet Podcast. I don't know the name of the voice actor for Lara Croft. However, I do know she's on Grey's Anatomy, because my wife watches that show, and I definitely don't like that show. I don't like Grey's Anatomy, guys. What more do you want from me? I much prefer Scrubs. Sorry. I don't care to get into Grey's Anatomy. It's not something I'm interested in. So let me know who was the voice actor for Lara Croft, because she reprises her role in this latest game, Rise of the Tomb Raider. So let me get into it. It features epic, high-octane action moments set in a beautiful, hostile environment on Earth. So after looking at the trailer, which you can find on YouTube, I wasn't highly impressed, because if you played the game Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 4, or I guess, I don't know if it came out for Xbox, but if you played it previously on the PlayStation 4, they go through a number of like scene changes. Because first they're on the beach of some sort, then it's like they're in like a forest or wilderness setting, which goes into something of a Tibetan, something like a Tibetan ghetto, like mud floor and all that. Then it actually goes into like Tibetan temples. Then once you go to Tibetan temples, you're in freezing mountain ranges. What I do love about the game, okay, I'll get to that, but so you're in like freezing Tibetan temples with ice and high mountains that you have to climb and all that stuff. So the video game, the trailer, it just shows her, once again, she's climbing mountains. She's climbing snow-capped mountains, and I was like, oh, really? They got to give her another environment because I might get a little too tired. However, it's beautiful. They know they know how to put out a good trailer for these games, for these cinematic games. They definitely know how to put out good trailers. So so Lara Croft, the plot of the game is that she's on her first tomb raiding expedition, seeking to discover the secret of immortality. This isn't a spoiler, guys. It's online, and it's in general like consensus that this is going to be like the plot of the game. So you can find it out. The game is going to feature, unlike the first one, it's going to feature a crafting system. So Lara Croft is going to get crafty. All right, I'll give it to you. That was kind of lame, but never mind. So she's actually you're gonna be able to create items by scavenging materials from different like plants and parts and all this like random stuff. You're gonna be able to craft scavenging materials for the game's harsh environment. So I'm not gonna. Oh man! All right, fine. Right, the in-game environment will include a weather system, which was, if you were to look at how they used the environment in the first Tomb Raider game, it was amazing. The colors on the treetops, when the wind would blow. Not what was most captivating, in my opinion, when I played the game, was the when they were in the Tibetan mount, like this Tibetan temple-esque theme, like area, because you would hear the ice crackle. It like you'd see like individual snowflakes, the wind, the ambiance. You would hear the how the wind would whistle when you're in like a wooden shed or like a wooden building. You'd hear it seep through like small holes and crevices in the wood. So I finished the game within a week. I finished the first Tomb Raider game within a week because I could not put my controller down. It was an amazing game. So they're going to continue this weather system, and it's going to affect human and animals in a day and night cycle. So they put that out there, but that was something that you had day and night also in the original Tomb Raider game. So, for example, I'm not going to blow this one, but let's say Laura needs a winter coat. And how is Laura going to get a winter coat? All right, I'm just going to leave that there. So the combat has been redesigned with more options for stealth and sneak attacks, which makes sense. Lara Croft, she's a treasure seeker. She's not like Snake. Well, she's not like, I don't know. Come on, like a Duke Nukem. She just rolls in there with like high artillery. No, she has to do sneak attacks. It makes more sense for her to do that. So Laura can confuse enemies with the environment. She can hide behind bushes, trees. She can avoid combat altogether. So something that's returning from the Tomb Raider game, from the first one, is the bow and arrows. So if you were happy with, like, instead of using guns all the time, using bows and arrows, if I remember when this came out, everyone was, like, a lot of girls were going, like fangirling out to bows and arrows because of, was it Katniss in the Hunger Games thing? Sorry, I don't know. It could have been something more than what it is, but I feel that the wait in between the movies killed the fandemonium, if you will. So I wasn't highly impressed as the people who read the books. If you read Hunger Games, then I mean, congratulations. I really enjoyed the casting for Hunger Games. I loved it. Katniss does a great job this girl, Jennifer Lawrence I love Jennifer Lawrence. She's amazing. But I love the way she portrayed Katniss. I highly enjoyed Lenny Kravitz. Come on, just I love Lenny. He's awesome. So yeah, like a lot of girls were just going fan crazy because of the bow and arrow ideas. So now you can use multiple. You can fashion. Let's see. Options for multiple bows can be fashioned from specific animals and materials that Laura can hunt and salvage. Other weapons, such as her pistol and her climbing axe, make a return, plus an added hunting knife for melee and sneak attacks. So I'm definitely imagining, because in the first game, Laura, she used the bow and arrow for zip lines and rope swings and things like that. She also used it for shooting flaming arrows. That was cool. I wasn't so much of a fan of her bow and arrow as much as it was as the pickaxe. That pickaxe was awesome, and the pickaxe was in the video game. So mad. I love seeing that. I don't know if pickaxes can do what she was able to do with them, like in the RL. I don't know, but wow, that's a great tool. That's like the first tool that you get in the first Tomb Raider game is the pickaxe or the axe pick. You know what I'm talking about. So the game itself, it's set after Tomb Raider, and Lara Croft experiences. All right, so it's after Lara Croft experiences various supernatural events going on Yamatai. So that was, I believe, the island that she was on that had all the. It had a forest. It had snowy mountains. It had a beach. It had everything. So those events, all the supernatural activity that was happening on that island was being covered up by an organization known as the Trinity. It wasn't mentioned about a lot in the video game. However, it is highly insinuated. So, in order to prove that she's not insane, Laura becomes obsessed with finding truth behind myths around the world. Rise of the Tomb Raider follows Lara Croft and Jonah Maiava as they search the Siberian for the ancient city of Kaitse, built by the Grand Prince of Vladimir in the 13th century, which Laura believes holds some truth behind immortality. In a race against Trinity, a well-funded organization interested in the supernatural, Laura must survive against humans, animals, and the environment in order to find truth behind the myths and become the one who she is destined to be, a Tomb Raider. Thank you. All right, they were happy. So, am I excited? Definitely. I'm upset that Rise of the Tomb Raider will be coming out for the Xbox One people. I am Xbox One. If you got one, I mean, like, why? Because it doesn't do anything special. Like, what does the Xbox? Maybe I'll do an Xbox versus Xbox One versus PS4. But I don't see why I should kind of waste the time of the podcast to talk about the Xbox One. I'm not a fan. Like, when I had a 360, I loved playing Madden. I will play the heck out of the Madden on an Xbox. If I have to soil my hands, I will, because that's the game that it's meant for. Like, I will probably, I'll go down doing some Halo 2. That sounds like fun too. I'll play some Halo also. However, what else is there? I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know. Facebook.com/Outlet Podcast. Tweet me at Outlet Podcast. Send me a message via those two mediums. I mean, my WordPress blog is something that I just want to express myself towards you all. But these are the ways you can interact with me. in a more sociable manner, in a more personal manner, you can email me, outletpodcast@yahoo.com. You can personally email me. But let's just make it an open forum and let me know, because I'm just not impressed. I really hope that this game, Rise of the Tomb Raider, is a timed exclusive, that like it will be released to everyone. Everyone, I mean PS4 users, that I'll be able to play this game, because in between playing my Guitar Hero, which if you didn't know, I did in my previous episodes, I believe episode 3 it was, or episode 4. Sorry, you guys, I don't know off the top of my head. No, it wasn't episode 4. I think it was episode 3, where I talked about the 3 games that I'm definitely excited for, which is Metal Gear Solid 5, Arkham Knight, and Guitar Hero Live, which I can't wait to play that, have my friends over for parties, and we'll play the mess out of Guitar Hero Live, so they can finally see what I'm going through as a musician and what I gotta suffer when people don't know how to sing a proper song in the proper key. It's like, my gosh, you guys, listen to the recording. So I'm really hoping that I don't have to wait too long. Maybe this exclusive, timed exclusive, will be finished within 3 months, 4 months, so I can get a copy on my for PS4. I'm hoping so. That's just something definitely I'm looking forward to. All right, so we've reached the end. Let me let you know how you can reach me and interact. Let's go. At Outlet Podcast on Twitter, Facebook.com/Outlet Podcast. Find me on YouTube. Make a comment and subscribe on YouTube. Outlet Podcast. You can find it in the search right there. Email me any personal things you'd like to talk about. Any comments, suggestions, all that. Outletpodcast@yahoo.com. My WordPress blog. Find me there, and join. Like, we can do some interactions there on my WordPress at outletpodcast.wordpress.com. On SoundCloud, which is where all the content is coming from, it's soundcloud.com/outlet-podcast. On Stitcher, if you'd like to listen to this on Stitcher, look for Outlet Podcast. On iTunes, which is what I love. I want everyone to start, give me the 5 stars, like, subscribe, comment. Let me get on that new and noteworthy, so that more people can get this content and be involved in this community, this outlet. So what else is there, man? Big stuff. Let me think before I let you guys go. Oh, snap. My acoustic sessions, hey, if you got a suggestion for me to cover a song, let me know, because I actually am very good at being able to find a song and be able to play it. Singing, all right, you guys, this is just an outlet for me. If you heard me play Paramore doing Misery Business, I cracked up in the middle of singing Misery Business, because I cannot do all that at once. It takes too much out of me, because I'm just trying to be able to keep the note. I'm trying to keep the pitch. So if you like to let me know any songs that you like for me to sing, they don't have to be like necessarily Christian worship songs. I might be doing some Christian worship songs in later on. Not necessarily stuff that you might hear at the church, but some that were like inspired, definitely probably from The Almost. I love something like Aaron Gillespie. He knows how to write great music. Michael Gungor, he's a Christian himself. You won't necessarily play the music that he plays in church, but it's more for your daily walk, your daily life. So my acoustic sessions are always they're coming up. Listen to my acoustic sessions. I also have my outlet spark plugs. I love doing my spark plugs. I'm hoping to get a lot more of my friends and some more people interaction for spark plugs. So those are more brief episodes, and I'm happy about those. I really like how that helps me bridge the gap in between episodes. So thank you, everybody. God bless you guys. You are listening to the Outlet Podcast. Connect, recharge.